Mark Murdoch. Thank you so much for tuning in. If I miss you, it's because the screen's rolling there. The show is about CE5 or AICE, which is human initiated contact experiences with our extraterrestrial families. There's a lot. If you link to Michael on his webpage at disabilityattorney.net,
you'll just get me.
You'll get him, but Michael will send you links to all the CE5 and HICE protocols. So if you're feeling a little extraterrestrial, we certainly know what you mean, that you want to reach out to your family in the stars because they're looking for you too. And that's one of the things that we do. We specialize in the show. And of course, both of us being humorous type fellows, I'm a stand-up comic for many years. And Michael as well
is a failed stand-up.
Well, comic. you never took it all the way, but dude, you've been practicing law for how many years?
I know it's all
you're a stand-up dude. So, yeah. you're stand-up with manners.
That's a good distinction.
That's a good way to put it. And of course the aha part of it, we have haha and aha. We report a little less known news, maybe the alternative story that you didn't hear. The mainstream media blew something in your face, wrapped your head around it, and but we might tell the other story where if you were standing across the street and you actually saw it happen, here's what really happened. We've all seen the way they doctor photos with close-ups to make situations seem horrible when they're actually very benign.
Yeah, like I posted one where the hurricane left, and even though the Bahamas got hit badly, this picture had a dolphin flying through the air at about 20 feet over the island. It was like, I don't care if it's real or not. That's just so different. It could be. It might be real.
Well, bad. I got to say, though, if I took that picture, I think I would have shared it, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I know it sounds almost coy and non-feeling, but from all the criticizing that the phrase thoughts and prayers, but there's nothing else you can do. You can send some money, and hopefully the profane Bahamian government will let the money in to help the people. We definitely send healing energies towards those islands and the people in there. They got walloped with a hurricane that is literally, I mean, it's in the history books forever.
Two gusts up to 229 miles an hour, sustained winds of 189. I mean, that island looked like Hiroshima.
Dude, it was like a 40-hour hellhole. I mean, it was just, I can't imagine the fear and the pain in those people. And it's one of those things, if you have not said your blessings lately or counted your graces, that'd be a good time. Be a good time right about now. And the world is
before the next two come this
way.
You
never know. You never know. You got to stay close. Stay close. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we really love doing this show. And Michael and I give you a little background on Michael. He's a disability attorney. He's a graduate of Princeton. He has a master's in history. So a lot of the information that we disperse.
Just a bachelor's.
Okay.
I think it cost me 4 years of my life, but it's just a bachelor's.
Okay. All right. Well,
it was John Belushi. It would have been 6.
Oh, that's funny, man. That's funny. And I'm a graduate of the Orlando School of Auctioneering. So there's that.
And driver training.
I've taught driver's ed, motorcycle maintenance.
You too can talk fast and drive the big rigs.
10-4 back door. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. But we do try to be very sincere about the information that we dispense, and the that sounded a little better. I'm a little fuzzy. Didn't it sound a little fuzzy to me? Are you working on it? Well, I'll just pretend I'm Jimmy Schubert for a little while. I'll talk like Jimmy Schubert, and he won't even know the difference. So that hurt my throat.
Don't do that again, man. We need you. You got to make the full hour here, Lou.
Yeah, Schubert wears himself out, and that's his voice. But anyway, tonight's topic, folks, thanks for hanging with me all these times. And is it's an age-old. In fact, it's a Bible verse actually that is the spur of this, whether you believe in the Bible or don't or whatever. But this sentence is one of the most truthful and striking sentences ever constructed in any language. And it's from the 23rd chapter of the book of Proverbs, verse 7. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And it sounds simple. Yeah, okay. You are the way you are. But I can tell you on 100 different levels, the truth and the depth of that sentence it's mind-boggling, because all of your religions, all of your faiths, those seeking a nirvanic or peaceful presence with the creator or grand spirit, whatever you're calling it, it's the conditioning of the heart is what they're all talking about. And once you get to a place where your heart is conditioned, full of love, full of understanding, full of forgiveness, then, that's when you start to grow. And it's a never-ending surge. I've been in so many absolutely beautiful places in my heart and soul before, and thinking that, wow, I really have come a long way. And then find yourself, 2 months later, completely scrambled, completely upside down, completely unhinged. And, and the only thing I can really say is when your clear, tranquil waters subside and you're tossed into the turbulent currents, that is where you apply your wisdom. And that is where you take a look at the whole situation and figure out what happened. Did my heart change? And if you're honest with yourself, that is the root of all that stuff. Your heart changed. Something happened. And, it takes a while to get yourself back on track. And, all right, Jesse, the buzzing is not. Oh, damn. This thing doing this again. Let us know if the sound is any better. Folks, this is on, I don't know if it's just on the Facebook side. I know the station got struck by lightning. We had severe lightning storms, and we're working on a crippled soundboard, and we may have a little fuzz in the sound. Sorry about that.
And the dog ate our microphones.
The dog ate the microphone, and, and the other thing too is if, I don't know if it's any better on the YouTube channel. If you go to Tan Talk 1340 on YouTube, the show is also simulcast. If the Facebook feed is giving you trouble, sorry about that. It may have a little buzz in it, but like I said, we're working on crippled equipment because of the hurricane winds that were through here. Are we okay? Okay.
Yeah, I just thought.
Are we okay? Yeah, just keep going. We're going to try to fix it. I love the way we have to do maintenance during my hour every week.
That's how they keep it maintained around here.
Yeah. I don't know about the stips, but anyway, such a profound statement is that of, so in your heart, so you are. Now, Michael, that totally lines up with the Tao, and this sentence is worthy in all faiths and all traditions.
Yeah, well, the Tao, Lao Tse, teaches us that keep an inquisitive mind and a heart as open as the sky.
An inquisitive mind and a heart as open as the sky.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tall order, brother.
Yeah, but after you've seen some of the skies I've seen, yeah, it is a tall order. But when you can identify with it and just keep it open, that's how you make contact.
Who is it? It's Lola on the phone. She wants to talk to me on the show. Okay,
Lola.
Well, welcome to the state. Welcome to the imho.love. This is Lola. She happens to own Tan Talk.
Yeah, I'm listening, and it sounds very nice. Nobody would know what happened if you hadn't announced it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't let the cat out of the bag there. Thought it was a common thing.
That's opening up. But anyway, no, it sounds very good. I'm driving. I'm listening to you on 106.1, and it will get fixed. Okay.
Okay, I'm sure it will.
Okay.
You know, it's
good
not.
show. Good show.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
I appreciate it. That's Lola. She owns
Lola.
Tan Talk, and yeah, apparently they're going to get everything fixed, and you know, we'll just keep moving on. So anyway, in that frame of mind, what I'm seeing, you know, if you try to watch the news these days, it's just this depravity of humanity. It's really it's beating me up. It's I can't I can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the whole Epstein thing is absolutely disgusting. These politicians who, you know, the emperor's new clothes are really showing through these days.
Yeah, let's take this back a bit. You know, I
Okay.
was a child of the 60s, and I watched the Vietnam War on TV every night. And every night, you know, America was faced with the atrocities that were going on.
Yes.
And the differences, and there were a couple million people killed over there, and we lost over 50,000 of our own men, many people wounded and came back mentally wounded as well. But we have wars going on in places like Yemen, where already over 1 million people have died, and there's no mention in any of the news, any of the TV programs. You can't find it unless you look for it. So we've buried we've buried our own humanity, and and all we've been experienced with is our own inhumanity, and that's what we're living. It's you know, they've protected us from ourselves, and we don't know what the truth is because we're not getting it from the news sources that we've historically relied on.
Well, and that's why, you know, the internet, you know, with all its fault and all its issues, is an incredible source because there's so much information being spilled out now. I mean, 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. The news feed just never ends. It doesn't even matter what time of day it is, when it happens, you know. Well, like, you know, a couple of days ago, I guess Kevin Hart got hurt in a car crash. And like, has anybody got an update on that? Is he okay? You know?
He underwent back surgery successfully.
He had successful back surgery. But like the first hour I heard it, he was completely crushed with his larynx. So, and I've, you know, who let that out? You know, I mean, who said that? Why would you hurt a comedian's larynx? On speculation, apparently it's not hurt.
Well, maybe he wasn't funny.
Kevin Hart's funny. He's funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, and speaking of funny, we were if the imho listeners, hi Susan, if you've not caught the Dave Chappelle special Sticks and Stones, it's his new release. It's on Netflix. And if you don't have Netflix, call a friend that does.
Yeah. It's a good night over.
It is. And this particular special, it's brilliant. Chappelle, to me, is on the cutting edge of, you know, he's kind of taking Carlin's place as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah. He's the Carlin of this generation.
And I don't know. I mean, the guy went through a lot of soul searching, and I certainly understood that. I mean, he actually left a multi-million-dollar job to go find out who he was, man. He just couldn't fly the corporate flag as well as they thought he could.
Well, you know, one of my favorite punchlines he's got is he goes, yeah, they accuse me of being a racist. This isn't on the HBO. He goes, yeah, they accuse me of being a racist, but I married an Asian. Well, she's really not an Asian. She's where's she from? Manila,
Philippines.
He goes, he's Filipino. And we had kids, and they all look like Puerto Ricans. How did I get Puerto Ricans as kids?
That's really, and he's really funny. And I know there's people blowing the racist whistle on that, and
that's terrible. You said something that I don't like. You're a racist.
Well, that's the saddest thing. They quit making Mad Magazine a couple of months ago.
Right.
You know why? We're not allowed to make fun of each other anymore. It was a satire cartoon magazine. For those of you who never seen Mad Magazine, please roll over. The Rock has to be getting cramped by now.
Yeah. But they've weaponized humor.
Yes.
I mean, look what they've done to Saturday Night Live.
Oh, I can't even look at it anymore.
No, I won't watch it.
I haven't seen one in years. Haven't been entertained.
They've weaponized humor, and all of a sudden, then they've disarmed humor too, because the really good guys aren't playing college campuses anymore because everything's so politically correct there. They can't tell a joke without having people sitting there on their hands and stone.
Sure. Well, and they show up with the intent not to like the show and to actually disrupt the show and play like a Las Vegas cooler in the room. Who's that? Shapiro, Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro who's a very far right conservative speaker, brilliant guy, knows a lot of stuff. A lot of his stuff makes absolute sense. But anytime he plays a campus, there's like a group of people that like come there to disrupt the energy in the room, and to draw the attention away from him. And that's I mean it's sabotage in a minor way. Nobody got killed, I don't think, but just that viciousness that comes out. You think by now that Americans, or at least people, would understand that let's stop beating the hell out of each other.
Well, what's surprising in this country is we brought the SS over after World War II, and people wonder, well, why would you do that? Well, because there's a cadre of fascists in this country that that we talked about earlier. They tried to overthrow FDR,
right?
And then they're the ones that assassinated JFK, and they're the ones that were involved in 9/11 and doing all the wars. And the surprising thing is, you got all these kids on campus, and the reality is there's very little difference between fascism and communism. They may call themselves communists, but when you get down to it, there really is no difference. They're statists, and they're potentially violent, and so you have all these kids, sitting around thinking they're cool, and that everything is going to be the way they want it to be, and all the outcomes of everybody's lives are going to be the same, and everything's going to be perfect. But the reality is it doesn't work out that way.
Right.
It's just a shame. They're fascists and they don't know it.
Well,
they're being controlled by a government that's a fascist government. It doesn't matter who's in power.
Right.
And if Hillary was in office, they'd be touting all her values, and it would still be the same old fascism.
It's almost infallible, and it almost seems like socialism is the final road for this country. There's a lot more people with the basic mindset of they're not buying the old workaday system. They're not, go to work hard, save up, buy a house. They're not running that pattern. And a lot of them, there's a huge contingent of people now are very, very open to any kind of government handout. And you've had generation after generation in the inner city, the welfare programs in this country, they run into the billions and billions. And I don't really understand the deep economics of it. I think it's impossible that anyone could, but those people are the byproduct of the corporate system. Those of us that run in the middle and do rewarded tasks, we're okay. We're allowed to have climate controlled environment, food at arm's reach, and cars with shiny wheels. But there's people that don't fit well into the maze, and they kind of become like societal slag a little bit. You know, they're there, they eat, they do things, but they're not contributing enough to the big mad system. And so, in other words, just to keep them out of the way, they feed them a stipend to keep them fed and quiet as much as they can. And you've had several generations of people reaching out to the government, and you know, they've bred and their kids have the same mindset and get everything you can. So the socialism, I don't think is going to be that hard of a sell.
Well, you know, what Lao Tzu taught and what the Tao Te Ching teaches was that when governments create weapons at the cost of providing medicine for the elderly and the sick, and when the rich hoard their money and the poor go hungry, then all systems fall into chaos.
Yes.
You know, and it was true 2,500 years ago, and it's still true today.
Well, you know, and I, to be honest, I mean, I'm kind of an optimistic guy, but I can't see this whole thing ending any other way but to slip into this crazy chaos. It's gonna come undone before it comes together, but consequently, folks, we can tell you. Here at imho.love, and there's a website, it's a Facebook page, it's all kinds of stuff. We're telling you in advance that the element that's going to survive all of this is love, and the premium element in love is innocence. And that's to me, when we're coming around to what your heart is supposed to feel like, when you can still feel innocence, when you still have that beam of purity in you, understanding that whatever you're looking at is made by grace and love and passion, and the highest parts of our vibration represent these things, you know. Children laughing and cute puppies and all that good stuff. It doesn't have to be cute. It just has to be beautiful and innocent.
Ugly puppies.
Ugly puppies are great. You know, I had a 3-legged puppy once. His name was Tripod, and he was a great dog. He really was good.
Really?
Yeah.
A dog named Tripod.
Tripod.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 foot here. That Latin class did help you out.
So, well, but what I mean, folks, is start now. Okay, you don't have to wait for the zombie apocalypse. Start now. In your heart, if you are harboring struggle and pain and unforgiveness and anger and fear, you got to let all that go, because it doesn't serve you. It does not serve you. It only serves you as a remnant of a lesson. Okay. So clear all that out of your initial presence and start taking in more peaceful vibrations, more positive talk, more focus more on the beautiful things, and your world will be more beautiful. And this is from my personal experience over the last, it's just been so hot out at night, and you just kind of get in the AC and just do something, just do something. And I've binge watched this Ray Donovan crime drama thing. There's 6, I think there's 7. They're going into their 7th season. I think I've seen 5 of the seasons. It's this crazy crime drama about this fixer guy who's like when Hollywood people get in trouble, they accidentally kill a hooker or something like that. This is the guy they call, and he makes it all go away. He knows how to dispose of bodies, and he's a hired murderer, really. And I've been watching, and I've seen dozens of these shows now. And I got to tell you, there's times that when I recall them, I go, man, that guy is brutal. That guy, why am I spending so much time looking at this evil guy? I spend my waking life avoiding people like this. But apparently on television, it's we like to see the bad guys.
Yeah, Harvey Keitel did a great job in God, I'm getting old. I'm getting forgetful too.
The Bad Lieutenant.
No,
Did you ever see Bad Lieutenant?
No.
Oh, dude, it's a creepy movie. Harvey Keitel is the lead. He is the creepiest cop. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know the film? It's called Bad Lieutenant, starring Harvey Keitel. It literally will make you take a shower after you watch it. This guy, he's a cop. He's a degenerate gambler. He's a junkie. There's a hilarious scene. I'll give away one little scene in case you do look it up. There's a scene where he's listening to a basketball game on the radio, and he's got a lot of money on the game. And of course, the other team in the last couple seconds totally pulls it out, blows his bet. Okay, now he's lost thousands of dollars, which apparently he can't afford to lose. He pulls his gun out of his holster and shoots his radio with his 9mm 3 times, like bam, bam, bam.
I think I was a 9mm. It would have been a 357. It would have gone through the engine block.
Yeah, and whatever, and just shoots his radio in his car while he's sitting in it like a foot away. So that's a bad movie.
Yeah, that's the same character he played in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, well, Mr. Wolf actually was a very cool guy, but a cooler, again, a fixer guy. And knows how to get rid of dead bodies and stuff like that. Yeah. And anyway, so I've exposed myself to this show, and it's interesting to know how the other team works. And there were some cool, setups and deals and stings and, double downs. And if you watch the show, you watch different people manipulate and a couple real funny characters. And that was what spurred this. So a man thinks in his heart, so he is. And when I'm thinking of Ray Donovan and the way he lives his life, it's brilliantly acted. A guy named Liev Schreiber is the lead. And man, when you think of that mindset of a guy that's all about the money, he's got a lot of internal family problems, as one might imagine. And just the struggle that he goes through every day. I mean, it's almost like a joke. It's like, how you doing today? I got more problems than Ray Donovan. He's got family, he's got people, he's got a lot of things going wrong. Well, folks, we got about 1 minute left here on the imho.love show. For this half, we have to play some regular news and take what you will out of it.
As opposed to the pulp news that
we give you the pulp news, man. We get news you don't even know you're going to get. So, and Lola, if you're still listening, I apologize. I was, just a little frustrated. But this is the imho.love show here on the Tan Talk Radio Network in sparkling Clearwater, Florida, broadcasting all over the world. And we thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back in about 6 minutes.
WTAN Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF Dade City,
FM 102.3,
WZHR Zephyr Hills,
FM 104.3.
Listen.
Dorian toll rising, diving boat crew interviewed. I'm Barbara Cusack. Hurricane Dorian's death toll on the Bahamas has risen to at least 20. The health minister says that includes 17 victims from the Abaco Islands and 3 from Grand Bahama. Correspondent Victor Blackwell says Dorian left unspeakable devastation on Abaco.
13,000 homes destroyed, according to the Salvation Army. That number expected to increase. 60,000 people will need food support, according to the World Food Program. This is a massive, massive response needed here.
Meteorologist Jennifer Gray takes a look at Dorian's current path as it's now aiming for the U.S. coastline.
All along the Georgia coast, South Carolina coast, Charleston could see a big push of water as we go through the day tomorrow with that storm surge. And then as it races off the North Carolina coast, possible landfall somewhere in the Carolinas.
The captain and 4 crew members who survived the early Monday fire aboard a scuba diving boat off the Southern California coast have been interviewed by federal investigators.
Lengthy, detailed, and comprehensive. That's how NTSB board member Jennifer Hominy describes the investigation. Interviews are being conducted of the 5 surviving crew members and the company that owns the boat that burned, and the mapping of the wreckage is being done, which is on the ocean floor 60 to 65 feet down and upside down. She also says she met with victims' families.
It is heartbreaking. This was a horrific tragedy.
And that is correspondent Jim Roop. All but one of the 34 victims' bodies have been recovered. A federal judge ruled the government's watch list of more than 1 million people identified as known or suspected terrorists violates the constitutional rights of those placed on it. A summary judgment was granted to the nearly 24 Muslim U.S. citizens who challenged the watch list, but the judge is seeking additional legal briefs before deciding what remedy to impose. I'm Barbara Cusack.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-619-0789. That's 800-619-0789. 800-619-0789. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Go yard is a metaphor used in baseball, meaning to hit a home run. Life struggles can make you feel like you just struck out. It's times like these that we need a little batting practice to pick ourselves back up and get back in the game. Whether you are dealing with marital issues, drug addiction, rebellious teens, anxiety, depression, or just generally having a bad day, call Mama Mac. If life has you down 0-2, before you strike out, learn to go yard. Go yard with Mama Mac on this radio station, Thursdays, 6 o'clock.
Hi, everybody. This is Jerry Verasano, the voice. Join the Pinhead, Rob Wild, and I every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. during drive time. Join us for Voice of the Pinhead Show right here on 10 Talk Radio. Relax, enjoy, start the weekend out right. Get away from all your stress and troubles. Have fun, laugh, smile. Join us, Voice of the Pinhead Show, right here on 10 Talk Radio.
This is Mark Skogman, host of Spectrum 360 on the 10 Talk Radio Network. Spectrum 360 is a political talk radio program that features politics, the arts, and popular culture from a progressive point of view. Spectrum 360 broadcasts for 1 hour weekly on Monday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern Time and anytime via podcast at 10talk1340.com. Remember, Spectrum 360, politics from a progressive point of view.
We take care of our own, wherever this flag's home.
Hey there, I'm Lynn About Town. Are you looking for something different for your talk radio? Then tune into our show, Talk of the Town, every Tuesday night from 5 to 5:30. Stay up to date with what's happening in your Tampa Bay. Hear from my special guests, get the cool event news, or call in to become part of the conversation. Whatever your poison, I promise you, this one won't kill you, but it'll definitely make you feel good. Talk of the Town, where good guys and good news meet. See you Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Show me the money. It's the Employment Opportunity Hour with Gene Hodge every Thursday night from 7 until 8.
So the purpose of the show is to help you out there to find something that you enjoy doing instead of a job. And at the start of the show, I normally give out a formula, which I know will guarantee you to find the type of job that you want right now.
Find out the formula to an enjoyable job with Gene Hodge's Employment Opportunity Hour every Thursday night from 7 until 8 here on the 10 Talk Radio Network.
Show me the money.
If you would like to become a wholesale buyer of the premium quality longevity product that you hear about right here on the 10 Talk Radio Network for personal service, you can pick up the phone right now and call Lola at 727-441-3311. Again, that's Lola at 727-441-3311. Or for even faster service, log on to tantalkhealth.com. That's tantalkhealth.com. Here's to your health and longevity.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's 10 Talk Radio Network.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf, here in the studio with me, Michael Murburg. Michael has a law practice over in Tampa, and he is the sponsor of the show here. It's disabilityattorney.net. So if you go to the his website, and if you have any needs collecting your disability and those kind of benefits, this guy's an absolute expert.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And if you want to get a hold of me and offline, Darby Rant CE5@gmail.com. Hit me up there, and I'll send you a protocol. Come on out to the ranch sometime.
Yeah, and that is the focus of the show, or partial focus of the show, is CE5, which is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, or HICE, which I think is a little friendlier term. Human initiated contact events. And what we do is we reach out organically through meditation, through prayer, through silence, through understanding, forgiveness. And we expose our little soft bellies to our extraterrestrial family and let them know we mean no harm. We only want to unite with that spirit of love and innocence that I know exists with them, because that's part of them. If their world exists, it has it.
Well, in CE5, and contact is the end result of everything we're doing. It's the most important thing that's happening in the planet. And I just love the way these phones are buzzing. I can hear the buzz right now.
Yeah. Well, it comes and it depends on how you're modulating too. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Well, the end game is contact, and this is a spiritual elevation that gets you there. So, and part of what we're doing, the kind of things we talk about, all come back to, how you comport yourself in this life, keeping an open heart, keeping an open mind. Don't think you have all the answers, because when you do, you absolutely do not, I guarantee you. And we were talking about frustration, and one of the things that came to mind was the frustration aggression syndrome. So
frustration aggression.
Yep.
Okay.
That's textbook, psychology 101, operant conditioning, that kind of stuff. When you get frustrated, you're apt to get angry, and rather than take that anger outside and hurt others, or consume that anger for yourself and become depressed.
Sure.
Let go of the frustration, find that moment of peace, and find your breath, find the air coming in and out of your nose, do some meditation, and let it go. And then that's how you make a better world. That's how you keep friends. And
well, especially today, with the world as fractionated as it is, we try to guess how things are going to go, and then we get upset when things don't go our way. It's a pretty common thing. It's I studied this several years ago. It's learning how to live past the knee reflex. If you can think through that before your knee-jerk reaction, just take that second, man. Take that 1, 2, 3 and go, nobody will think you're weird if you take a 3-second pause to answer a question.
Something strange happened this week, among other things. But, I was in the bank and I had to deposit some checks, and I dropped the checks, and I was online, and it was very, very awkward. And, a few years ago, I would say, oh my God, well, everybody thinks I'm an idiot, or, and my thought now is, I wonder how the Dow has just affected me to avoid something more hazardous in the future, so that I have to bend over and pick up these checks and do this. So what in the universe has changed for my benefit as a consequence of this seemingly negative event?
That's absolutely beautiful. It's that classic story. The star football player breaks his arm the day before the game, can't make it to the finals, brokenhearted, kicking stones. But the team leaves and goes to the game, and the bus goes off the cliff, and 11 players die. So the guy with the broken arm, who was obviously there was no urgency for him to get there, he took a separate vehicle and was spared the tragedy. I don't know whatever became of the guy, but I know it's a true story. And same thing. And oh my God, your arm's broke. It's horrible. You're the star quarterback. This is a tragedy. No, tomorrow's the tragedy. 11 of my brothers and sisters are going to perish on the way to support us at this sporting event.
And even then, with the tragedy, just you never know how the tragedy affects other people positively. And if you turn it into a spiritual journey, it starts making a whole lot more sense.
Sure, it does. And the other thing too is, I know some absolutely beautiful people on this planet. I mean, just beautiful souls, beautiful spirits. And I'll tell you, the ones that I noticed that are the most genuine have had the most difficult struggle. They've had a lot of pain. They've had a lot of, they've experienced a lot of death. They've experienced a lot of deeply frustrating situations, situations beyond their control. But somehow, through grace and meditation or prayer or whatever, they've learned to be okay with it. And be okay with it. And accepting yesterday is extraordinarily important. The old thing, take the best, leave the rest. That's all you can do with your yesterdays. If you sit there and dwell upon all the negative things that happened in your past, for one, you'll be busy forever. Okay. And you'll never have any time to at least get neutral. And then once you can get neutral, then you can start making improvements. Then you can start weeding out the bad information, making yourself, lean towards the positive. And, I'm constantly doing that. It's a constant tug of war within my soul. I'm a human. I play down into the scenarios that happen in our society. And, but at the end, after the frustration of other people, places, time, energies, finances, whatever, you stop and you're all by yourself, and you got to realize, oh man, who am I? What's really going on? And you got to go back to ground zero. You got to get yourself, for one, you got to forgive yourself for everything that you deem was a mistake. And also, too, the Tao is perfect when it tells you that all information that you receive is neutral. How you respond to it is your reality. Everything comes at you with nothing other than the situation itself. How you perceive it, how you receive it, how you digest it, that's the reality. And when you can take a step back and look at these situations that you're in for what they truly are, and take your emotion out of it, take your, being offended out of it, and just look at it for what it is. And most of the stuff is very benign. There's most of the things that people overreact to are so benign and so minor. You're going, what is the big deal, man? Even like on social media, when you look at a post and like you got 57 responses on something very, very basic, but people just arguing and slandering each other and slamming on each other and insulting each other. Man, it's just a conjured mindset. And there was and with this advent of the internet, everybody's an author now. Everybody's a critic. Everybody's an authority, self-appointed authority on various things. It really dilutes truth and well sought research by trustworthy sources. Not just research to create your point of view. You got to take a look at both sides, man. But that doesn't happen very often. People only read into what they want to read into.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you, but I don't really have enough time to be offended by all the minutia,
right?
And you're very right. There's a saying of Lao Tzu's, which goes something like, "The master realizes things for what they are."
Yes, the master realizes things for what they are. Yes, very good.
No
Very
need
good.
to call them bad. No need to call them good. That creates a useless division, dichotomy. And that goes with keeping an open heart and a mind that is constantly in search of truth.
it really is. It's almost like a daily cleanse. You think back on what happened to your day. I've been extraordinarily busy at my day job at Armor Tech Windows and Doors in Sparkling Clearwater, Florida, 727-447-3789. Ask for Lou. Very busy at work, of course, with the hurricanes coming in and people, it's all on their mind now, storm protection. So the phone's ringing off the hook. Everybody that's already ordered, all of a sudden they're in a big old hurry for their windows.
Yeah.
And
Lou, we got a ticket for you for the
yeah. Well, they won't be giving those away on The Price is Right for a while. I tell you, man, just to loop back around, folks, everybody here at imho.love, Kathy McGuire, our producer. Thank you so much, Kathy. The show goes so much smoother when you're around. And our board op in there, Vaughn, he's a good boy. Got a hot rod Dodge out there. And me and Murburg here. We all we're sending the most sincere healing energies that we can pull out of ourselves and sending them over to the Bahamas. My God, I cannot imagine. It's if you've ever gone home to like a ransacked house or somebody broke into your house and stole some stuff and you feel so empty and horrible that you've been violated. But can you imagine going to where your house used to be and everything that you own just floated down the road? And is out to sea. To be honest with you, I don't even know where they would start.
By letting go. Look, it happened. You live through it. Let go of it.
Well, yes,
you can't get stuff back, and you just got to realize this is all temporary anyway.
But dude, we easily got 30 days of horror stories coming up.
Oh God, yeah,
maybe 90 days.
Yeah.
Depends how long it plays.
Yeah.
And, and folks, a lot of the problem, and the same problem happened in Puerto Rico when they got wiped out, is the government and those near the government just stole everything. They just stole everything. Not none of it, some of it got through, but such a huge percentage of the stuff was pilfered, sold on the black market, moved along to somewhere else. Everything that was supposed to be general charity just got skimmed so bad.
Yeah, it was just like an African third world country.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, Puerto Rico is really part of the United States, or like our 51st state, really.
Yeah,
and
it's a territory.
And they could not pull it together well enough. All the money and all the aid that they flew in there, it never made it to the people the way it was supposed to. And we're talking billions of dollars of stuff, billions. And I do hope that there is some sort of oversight committee because the Bahamian government is, they're questionable as well. And I would hate to see, people so devastated not get what they had coming to them, at least, survival stuff. So please, in this topic of so a man thinks, so he is, I hope those leaders think with their hearts and think of family and humanity as opposed to running the business of their government. And I really do hope that they lead with their heart and not their minds, and certainly not their dirty little bank bags. So we will be practicing that type of energy. I'm going to send a lot of that energy out. I'm going to take some time and meditate and send some stuff over. And folks, that stuff changes the world, man. If your level of sincere prayer can change the world, and it's happening over and over and over again. And that is part of the attraction of the CE5 HICE meetings that we have. We've been having some weather prohibitions, whatever word I'm looking for.
Yeah, the weather sucks.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's 90 degrees, it rains, there's humidity like you're wetting your pants every time you take a step, and the mosquitoes are as large as bats.
They have landing lights.
They do.
They're big old skeeters out there in the field.
Suck it dry like a vampire.
Well, but when's the next one? October?
September 28th, 29th. It's a weekend after the Woodstock of CE5.
Okay,
So
September 28th, 29th.
And some of us will still be out at the ranch on the 22nd to do the Woodstock thing. So, if you're around, let me know. I'm sure you'll be there. So.
I'll be around. Yeah. All right. And also too, if you go to the meetup page, meetup.com, Tampa CE5 ambassador to the universe meetup.
No longer ambassador to the universe. That's a Greer connection that I got rid of. I did.
Oh,
I had.
We're not there anymore, Kathy.
No.
Okay.
All right.
It was as of a few weeks ago. Sorry about that.
Okay. You can go to Darby Ranch CE5 at Gmail.
Yeah, or you can go to meet up Tampa Human Initiated Close Encounters and Contact Experiences. That's me. We've got 146 active members now, and I am limiting the CE5s to 30 members per CE5. So if you're going to come, get registered and get registered quick.
Sure. Well, there you go. And that's September 28th and 29th?
28th, 29th.
Okay, very good. That's the end of the month. Well, and that's one of the main focuses that the HICE meetups have is I have not met anyone at these events that is not just a wonderful soul. And we meet, and Michael opens up his beautiful home and shares it with us with a complete giving heart. And we go out to his beautiful property, and you're amongst friends. And you can meditate and cleanse yourself, and then when you feel the need or the energy moves across you to send out your energy out to some people call it our star family, extraterrestrial family. See, because we're terrestrial, okay, we're terrestrial beings, and I do believe all these beings, they were here once. But now they're extraterrestrial because they're outside of this universe or outside of this earthbind. And so our extraterrestrial friends, I will tell you, the love and the innocence that we seek is similar with them. They've seen enough of worlds to know that war is not the answer to anything, that death and control are not the answers to anything. What is the answer to everything is understanding, forgiveness, love, innocence, and the protection of all those things. And doing right. There are things in your soul that you know are right. And that is what we're trying to amplify with our meetups. The people that come out with us are just fabulous human beings.
Well, yeah, they're spiritually evolved, and contact continues to spiritually evolve you. And in the 30 or so CE5s, we've only failed to make contact on a couple of occasions. The last time we were out there, we made minor contact before the rains came. But this is part of what we do. We must make contact in order to ask the ET, non-human intelligences, to help us. They won't do it by their own volition. We have to ask them, and the only way to ask them is to learn to develop your meditative skills and your exoconsciousness, that subtle time-space highway that we talk about, and then make contact, and then ask them to come into your lives and ask them to come to this planet and help. And that's how this change is going to occur.
You know, Michael, you said one of my favorite words that I've learned since we've been doing this show. And that's exoconsciousness. That is such a beautiful word, such a beautiful notation of probably one of the most perfected energies available to anyone. Your basic consciousness, your inner consciousness, your human consciousness is of a confined level because it's within your body.